Okay. The April meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners is hereby called to order. Reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the
I
previous.
second it. Did you have to approve both sections of the meeting
I get,
from the
I'm
night?
assuming that the motion is to both days. We had originally March 9th, and then we adjoined that back to the 16th. So, I mean, I guess that we can have that motion saying both meetings, the 9th and the 16th. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll hold off a little bit on the presentation of bills and accounts. Jump into Cooper Lake improvements.
All right. The copper dam has been installed fully. They've begun excavation of the new intake tower on the west side of the dam. This new spillway where they're doing the piping is fully excavated and it's being installed. I was up there yesterday and I believe they had 4, 5, 6, 20 sticks in the ground already connected.
So in the pump house, how much, what have they actually started doing? You know?
Just digging down to
Down
what
to-
elevation they're going to be at.
Yeah, okay.
And they also finished, they actually installed 23 additional pairs of sheet piling, which was the change order number 3 that I had sent everybody. So the original change order was they were going to do 60 feet of the 20-foot sheet piling that they couldn't use over on the copper dam. So they actually had 105 feet and they were able to get all 105 feet installed at the same price. So it's the total cost of this change order was $15,750. They got 105 feet of extra sheet piling in that will remain in place permanently.
Mhm.
And it's actually already shown benefit. There was a seep that's been running since last August when they started excavating. After this 105 feet was installed,
It
that
stopped.
seep has dried up and it's stopped.
Okay.
completely.
So we still need to approve this change order.
Please.
Okay, so we have a change order from Thale, change order number 3. At a price of $17,750.
15, it's hidden in there.
Yeah, well, it's 50, then there was an extra,
Yeah, so it's 15,750 and that shows up. Where is it?
Yeah, I got
It's
it.
in the little box on the.
the 2,000 was for overtime, right?
They didn't actually, it ended up just being a 1-day. So when they actually, I got the official price this morning, they didn't charge anything extra. They
Okay.
stayed a little late, but they got the whole thing done. And they only, it's gonna be 15,750. That is the total cost of the change order.
I have a question about it. Is
Sure.
this the first time we've had a change order from them?
This is the third change order.
The third change order, okay.
And this will come out as a contingency,
Yeah,
which would leave about $226,000 left in that contingency.
and we're like halfway through the project. Is that what I was looking at, or at least with cost? I was looking at that, I don't know if that was that one I was looking
I
at.
don't think.
No, I don't think we're anywhere near that, are we?
Percentage wise.
Look at,
We paid out 2.4, there's about 13.1 left in the contract.
Oh, okay, so it was the other one I was looking at, then that was, okay.
the engineer, you were probably looking at the
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the
Schnabel's engineering.
So this is from Dale.
Okay, okay. Because I wasn't sure about how far we were into the project with how many change orders we had from them already, and if this was only into, like, is this like normal to have 3 change orders this much into the project so far?
I mean, we started in July.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was thinking, okay, so we're in July. What is the, when do we expect to be finished with this?
June of 23,
Okay,
completely.
okay, so another year.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have a pretty good amount of money still in the contingency fund, so.
Yeah, 226 after this 15.
So this is gonna be for 15,750. They didn't use the 2,000 set aside for overtime.
Right.
Okay. Is there any further, how many, so this is the third change order. The other two, how much did they cost? Just to give Joanne and us a concept of.
So we had,
One was to put the pipe on reserve, right? On a hold, so to speak, cut the line pipe.
I don't recall what the first two were. There was an $8,500 change order. And then one for about $49,500.
Okay.
One was for that pipe to put it on hold in case you need it.
Right, so if we needed it, we had
Yeah,
it.
and if not, you get the money back. then use it.
Yeah, that was for the submittals for the
Yeah.
connection to the show can,
Right.
where they didn't. If we end up activating the temporary connection, then that's already built into the connection bid price. But if they do not activate the connection, then we pay for the work that was needed to do the permits and the submittals for DEC, for DEP rather.
So total so far is 49,585, so that's
74 roughly, 73,777,
7 what?
73,777.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve change order number 3.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any of those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Carried.
Right, I skipped over the biggest news about Cooper Lake.
Yeah.
We received a $3 million WIA grant. We got notification of that yesterday afternoon.
That's
So
great.
that's the maximum amount for drinking water. And so that's gonna help
No,
tremendously.
that's from the state,
Yes, that is state funds.
State.
because I see a lot of the,
It's the,
congressman and senator are all taking accolades for giving the money. The
Yeah.
federal government gave it to the state to dish out, I think.
I believe with WIA it is state funds. There's other grants they do that would be federal funds that are being passed through the state, but I do not believe WIA falls into that. I think this is considered state funding.
No, this is when we applied for it.
Back in October through EFC.
and this comes out of the water end of that project.
Is this the same grant fund pile there that like Kevin Cahill would get money from, or,
I'm not sure how that,
okay, because it seemed to have the same,
I mean, it's, the announcements yesterday were drinking water and clean water, so it's
Yeah.
water and wastewater awards. I'm not sure about Kevin Cahill and how he falls into all of that.
I mean, we applied through the state health department for this grant.
oh,
It's
no.
administered by EFC, Environmental Facilities Corporation. They administer all the grants. There's grants on the DEC side that funnel through that agency. That agency is just like basically a lending agency as part of the state health department, so, or as part of the state, so that this state health department and DEC kind of funnel all their money, their grant monies through EFC. So I think anything that Kevin may have
We do this go-
would come separate from
Oh, okay.
from him through the state budget. This is all money that is
Oh, I
allocated.
see what you're saying, yeah. no.
This is all money allocated within the state health department.
Okay,
Now, we're also looking for down the road is to apply for grants from DEC for dam remediation. Which, I mean, we got one grant for
For design.
100,000
For
for
design.
design.
I don't have anything more on grants from the federal government, but when I was in Saratoga last week, I did talk to Brock Rogers, who is a DOH engineer. He's the chief of, I don't know,
Design section
Yeah.
probably.
So I talked to him and he's sending a memo because there is potential, there is, EPA has new guidelines where they're going to allow GWSRF funds to be used for dams. In the conversation, I don't want to say, I'm hopeful that the entire project will be funded through some kind of EFC financing.
Which would be the,
Not a grant, but.
right, but it would be the low interest loan, the, what's the terminology
The
for?
market rate versus subsidized.
Yeah, subsidized.
Maybe it would be subsidized, even if it was market rate, it's better than going out and taking a large chunk of money. Because you get it as you spend it.
Right, okay.
So I'm hopeful that he's sending them out that the Kingston Water Department is interested, what needs to be done, how is this gonna work? So that's something that's on the horizon of potential.
So how soon can we get this money actually into our account?
The 3 million, the grant.
Or what has,
We only did it as we spend it.
okay,
And with this, we need to go through, there needs to be a closing, so they have to do a finance, so there's gonna be bond counsel has to get involved. Yeah, it is a process, there's conference calls and paperwork. I don't want to put a time frame on it, but it's gonna be a while.
okay, but we've already borrowed,
12 million.
okay, and we're paying interest on that 12 million right now.
Yeah,
Because that is not a subsidized loan, but just a loan that we went out and got, regular market rate loan.
it's a band through, and that, I don't know the numbers, but off the top of my head, but it's basically no interest considering it's $12 million, because the rates are still so low.
Oh, okay,
So it's very, very, very low interest. And that-
Anybody else need a
but the grant money is cheaper than,
I mean, grant money is, you
Grant
have to pay for the closings and, you know,
okay,
to get the, so we just renewed the ban.
I mean, at what point can we pay back that $12 million?
Well, we can't, so if the entire project is not going to be DWSR fundable, the money that we borrowed, we are going to need to pay for the actual dam work.
Okay, the 12 million is for the, what's the 12 million that,
That was what's left. So the plan is, if we don't get any federal funds, we would bond what we need to pay for the dam work, and the rest of the project, the application with DFC right now, it was for 7 million. 3 of that will be grant, the rest of it will be EFC financing, and then we'll have what we borrow to pay for the remainder of the project. Which may change based on what EPA is going to do and how New York State is going to divvy up those funds.
so at some point in time, though, we can give the money back to the bank, so we're not paying interest on the
Possibly.
12 million, and then, because they're holding, after the closing, they're holding whatever money they have at EFC for us.
Yeah, how long it's all gonna take, I can't say.
Okay.
I mean, what we have now, we're gonna need if nothing changes.
But don't you usually just wait till you have to spend the money, then you borrow it?
Well, we
You
only
don't borrow
did,
it beforehand, do you?
we did.
We did in this case, the $12 million we borrowed.
Why?
You can only, they only do it in March and August, and we needed the money, thought we were gonna be spending it for the construction, and we can't front it, like, next door, John would.
Yeah, I know, that's what,
But they
that's always in my
they
head.
can, we don't have the bank account to do that. We
Oh, so
can't,
they can do
we
it
can't
differently.
front the money and float, we can't float the money and borrow it after the fact. We needed the money to pay, because we've already paid out.
We only have $1 million in our bank account, so,
We
or maybe $1.5 million. So,
we paid out already. Because we've already paid out almost $4 million. We wouldn't have had that kind of cash, yeah. So we had to borrow.
yeah, that's the 2.4 with Dale and the 1.4 with Schnabel, right?
But wouldn't it have been better just to borrow, when you say you can borrow?
We thought the construction was gonna go quicker.
Oh,
So the timeline got a little
Okay,
off.
normally you would just borrow how much you
No,
get that
but we didn't
day.
take the whole thing at once. It was in pieces.
Oh.
Or I want to say 3 different pieces.
Oh.
This is what we anticipated, and it didn't quite work out how we thought it was going to.
Gotcha.
In terms of interest rates, like we just renewed the ban in March and the interest rate was 0.8. So the interest on almost $12.3 million is $46,000. So, I mean, it's not nothing, but for the amount of money we borrow, it's nothing.
That's 46,000 per year.
Well, it's only a 1 year,
Okay.
because it's short term.
What would you divide that by 12 and pay 50,000?
It's a one pay, but we do, so we pay it in March when it comes due. It's all one time. We send the money over to the city
So we paid that this
in March.
last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
March.
So when you do your budget, you put
It's all back.
that and then the 50 for 12 months, all added in.
It's all back.
Paying,
Okay. But there's hopeful that the dam money will actually come out of, can come out of the EFC through the state health department, the DOH.
Possible.
Anything else on Cooper?
They're working on the Ashokan connection, the roadway crossings. The state has given a permit to cross the road right from the county. The contractor is going to be up at the pretreatment facility next week, possibly to start the tap to the main, or where the connection will come in. And that's it for Cooper.
Transmission main rehab project.
All the materials and valves have been received by Schultz. Schultz is ready to go. We're meeting on Monday afternoon at the site, so just refresh everybody's understanding of the project. And I'm thinking maybe the second they'll actually start work again over on Boyce's Farm at the valves.
You're meeting Monday, what date is that?
25th.
So these are, valves are just that whole valve chamber.
That whole area on Boyce's there. But just before compliance point.
Oh, over on that side,
Yeah.
by the compliance
Point
point.
to the billboard. You know,
Yeah, okay.
Right there in that field.
Because everything else that we did
The thing-
over on Sawkill,
That-
that's all done.
That's all. So it's just the valve yard down below.
I thought one of these, wasn't there some repair work we were doing on the transmission line itself coming down from the plant where we had that
They
problem?
repaired some leaks.
Okay, so they're all, that's all, we didn't need to, that wasn't any part of this project. That
It was part of the.
Okay, but did it before?
Yeah, this is taking so long because of delays.
Ordering
Getting the valves.
valves.
They just received on Monday, Tuesday, they were received by Schultz.
Okay. So everything that we thought we had a major problem up on the transmission line was just because there was a valve that was open, that they didn't realize was open, and they.
Yes, that's been taken care of as well.
Who's the reverse? The SMS reverse.
Okay.
Backwards.
Yeah, well, I remember we thought that we had.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago or whatever. We thought that we had.
Yeah.
Broken everything up there, but okay, that's. Okay, we had 2020.
We are meeting with CDM on the 2nd to review the plans and go over the valve replacement as well as SCADA. I'll have more for you after that.
Okay, so after you go over the plans, we have to go out to bid then,
Yes,
and you know about when we'll,
I'm not sure what the timeline on that is.
but it's not something we'll be doing this,
For the May meeting, I'll have a better idea of where we're at.
okay, it's not likely we'll be doing that work this construction season, is it? Maybe,
And if they have to get valves, I don't know what the.
Just the availability of the valves, that's the big nut.
okay,
And not the big valves like, further up, the smaller valves. in the system.
okay, they're within the distribution system,
So
right?
hopefully they're more available.
And I do have an amendment for that project.
Okay,
There's no cost change. It's just to move the money around for ESC purposes and get the money from them.
okay, so this is a no cost amendment.
Yeah, you can take that, I'm just looking for.
So it's just
this.
gonna
I can't find.
Shift more money into the replacement of the valves.
Can't find this, and I can't find that, yeah.
But this is just, this is just for design though, right? Or is this actually,
No, this is, I mean, this is the project for CDM. It's not for the construction. There's no contractor yet. So this is what we're meeting on Monday to go over the plans for.
oh, okay,
But to get reimbursement from EFC, they go by these 4 tasks. And we didn't use as much as it was originally, in the original contract, it was more for the electrically actuated valves. So EFC had that original number.
so this is for, when we submit to EFC
You have to
to
be
get,
under the task. So when Jane has a submittal to do for them, and it has to be under task 4 is where most of the spending is taking place right now. And we have to be under that E15 to get money back. So they're moving money around to show what we're actually doing now to update the project.
okay. So we need a motion to approve this no cost amendment.
Please.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll say,
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, it's passed. Thank you. Tech City.
Not much there. Hyde Park is continuing to pay the bills. So there's nothing owed. I did email Dan Hayhouse and just reach out and let him know that, I'm the new superintendent. If he needs anything or has any updates, let me know. When I sent him the last bill, I didn't hear back from him. The bill's been paid.
I
So
was talking to him the other night, and he said, yeah, everything's fine, I was paying the bill, everything's,
Talking to Dan?
yeah.
I mean, the issue that may arise is in
2 months from now.
end of May.
All right, just get him that, put a bill in.
Yes.
Because what happens is there's a minimum charge on the bills. So the first 2 months, they just pay what they actually use. And then on the third month, if they don't use what the minimum is, they get socked with, water, they're paying for water that they didn't use, that's the minimum.
Oh, okay.
So.
The usage has dropped to a level where that is going to happen.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah. Must have fixed whatever problem I had.
Has, yeah, because
You found everything?
Yeah, because it was a while they were over exceeding their minimum, a while,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
last quarter was the first time in a while they had
yeah.
not met it.
so, I mean, because the leaks out there, they were using,
Mhm.
getting charged what the minimum would have been anyway, so they wouldn't have seen any difference. But now that they fixed the leaks, their usage is fairly low. And that minimum then is gonna come into effect at the billing of the end of May. Beginning of May or end of May?
And,
End of May.
yeah, it'll be the- yeah, until the last
Next
day.
You said we have to do agreements with them, things like that.
Yeah, at some point in time, we don't, again, they don't own the place, they haven't closed on, as far as we know. I mean, until they actually take ownership of the property, I don't think we're in any position to negotiate a new agreement with them or whoever. I mean, who's, I see in the paper, or someone told me that the county was thinking about on the west side, the part of the Bank of America building that the county actually owns.
Yeah, we had talked about that. I believe there's a rent to own with a high card.
Okay,
That's on free.
that's probably what I put too, is in the premium. They can then have ownership of the entire parcel.
Basically, with the exception of those 2 or 3 in the back warehouses.
The ARPA, American Rescue Plan,
That's been approved by the council. I reviewed the mayor earlier today and something about how we want to spend. Like there's the categories that are in the plan. It sounds they're not strict, like it doesn't necessarily have to be, it's gonna be, as long as they're water related projects, infrastructure, then that's kind of ours to do what we're going to do. I don't have a timeline as to when it's going to be dispersed. And I'll talk to John too about how it's gonna happen and how we track the spending, because it is federal money. But
I mean, do we have
council
to,
approve it.
do we have to finish the project in order to get the money, or?
I haven't had I'm gonna have to talk then with the auditors and John, how it's going to be handled and tracked, so.
Okay, do you have the breakdown again of
I have, what was in
the plan that was
what
approved?
I have, I don't believe this has changed, but we have 75 for lead services, 75,000. 150,000 to purchase equipment to address the lead service requirements. And 350,000 to repair 1 water tank. And while not directly to the water department, there was the Henry Street improvements, which has as part of that, a Henry Street lead line replacement pilot. Where the city's gonna, I guess, replace the lead lines that come across there.
Well, just now Henry Street, is the water department involved in that at all?
And we've been doing taps there. Last month we did what, 5, 6 taps?
4 and 5, yeah.
Who pays for that?
The city is paying those through their.
Giving you money?
Well, they're, the plumber buys the taps. And keep billing as their.
Or you charge the farmer, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you go to the taps and that's also the plumber and.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we charge this,
We charge the plumber and he's billing the city,
okay,
whatever he's billing.
no different than, well, I guess, yeah, the other difference would be if Joe Smith is putting in a new line, new tap,
I mean, to us, it makes no difference other than you're lumped together in the same area because that's where they are. So you see in the superintendent's report, I think they're all, you see Henry Street, Henry Street, Henry Street.
Right,
So you can see they're all part of that.
okay, and so who do we actually get a check from?
From the plumber,
From the plumber,
that's what we build, so.
okay.
Very local plumber or
Yeah.
city license?
Yep.
They just checking.
JBL license.
Huh?
That JBL company.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where the heck are they?
I don't.
There's a lot of horror stories I've heard.
JL,
That JBL or JLP, whatever it is.
yeah, they're local now, you know, the old Bank Motors.
Yeah.
That's what they're all.
Yeah, I know, but are they local people that?
I don't think so.
They're all over the county,
Parker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
JSP, John S. something Parker. So there's more to come on how all that funding,
Yes. It was just recently approved, so there's not much,
yeah,
yeah, in terms of how it's gonna be done.
So the mayor never said you could get some more money from that.
we never got a response back to.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, I'm just curious if they ever received the letters.
I'm assuming that, did Joanne and Bob get a copy of the letter that, you got a copy of the letter I sent?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm, yeah, I got email, yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, obviously, there was no response
No
to
response.
our comments
Okay.
with a request for additional money into the water department from that program.
What I got from listening to that meeting is that the argument that they wanted to hear was how it was going to provide COVID relief. But us being able to not put financial burden on the city people of Kingston by raising the rates would be that.
Universal, everybody in the city.
Exactly, but that's what they seem to, the company that was, who's doing the whole thing, that's their whole argument seemed to be like their whole, justification for why they approved certain projects over others was because it was going to provide COVID relief.
They had all
This
this
whole thing.
sign thing in there. That
The
wasn't,
signage,
that
yeah.
wasn't going to
No,
COVID
no.
relief. And then housing, the water rates have an effect on housing too.
Yeah, I know,
It's like,
I know.
Well, apparently, they took a lot of money out of the signage
Yeah, I think.
thing and threw it over to housing, from what I understand.
And it seemed to me too that the older people really only had their, had whatever the document that they gave them, they didn't really have it very long. From the way that they were responding.
That's the way it works, though. You give it to them now, anytime.
To do anything with it.
Yeah, vote.
Okay.
Yeah, because from the response of the people there, that a lot of them seemed like they really didn't even know what was in
Right.
it, And then, I didn't wanna make a comment because I really didn't know what our stance was going to be at that point, but then, after, so I just waited and stuff, and I didn't make any comment.
What meeting was that?
That was the one with, where you were gonna speak, but then it was
You
virtual.
couldn't have made the comment anyway. I tried. Dennis tried, you couldn't get in.
I got in, I was in the meeting.
You were
Yeah, but you couldn't-
watching it.
You watched,
Yeah.
but you couldn't,
Oh, I wasn't able to comment?
No.
Oh, good.
no, you were watching it through you were probably watching it through YouTube.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
Yeah, because you weren't seeing anything in the chat, there was nothing to go in the chat or anything like
Right.
that, yeah. Because I was looking at what we could possibly, what if anybody was making comments in the chat, I was looking for stuff like that.
yeah,
Okay.
Very coveted.
Because other people were making this, that one
Yeah,
person
they
did
got
make,
in.
yeah.
I think you had to maybe submit your comments a week ahead or something.
in advance, they must have gave them some other link.
Because they said that they saw other people in the meeting who weren't making any comments and make sure you could. Okay, so I was thinking maybe you were referring to
Myself and
somebody
Dennis
else. Okay, the
actually
three
even
of us
went to
then.
the meeting at City Hall, because prior to that, the mayor had said that there was gonna be no more virtual meetings and everything was gonna be there. We're there, and
Yeah, okay.
there was a meeting going on, but it wasn't our meeting. I don't know where that meeting was.
Wasn't like that when you were there, was it?
No, it wasn't. I wouldn't stand for that.
Yeah.
Okay, treatment chemicals.
All right, so I believe the board was aware that we had been getting letters from Jones asking for more money, and we've been responding that, you know, we can't pay more money, this is what it is, you have a contract. But a few weeks ago, I did get an email from JCI asking if we were interested in renewing the contract for July 15th through another year with a 22% increase. While it seems like it's a lot, we had budgeted for a 200% increase based on what other municipalities in New York State and the area were seeing. And when we did it last year, we only got one other bid for the liquid chlorine, and that bid was for 1.823 per pound, and they're asking to go up to 1.83 in this coming July. And I think a large portion of that is most of the other suppliers of this product buy it from JCI. And that's where they get their chlorine from, so they're not gonna give us a price less than JCI. And when I was in Saratoga last week, I did talk to somebody who said they recently had done bids. They rebid it, they didn't like what they had gotten, and they got no bids, so now they're buying it. Every time they ordered it, buying from whoever has it.
And what are
They
they
don't have a
paying?
contract.
Did they say what they were paying?
It was, I don't know what the number was, but they also buy different, they have larger cylinders than what we're buying. So we only do 150-pound cylinders.
Okay, so, but this,
So I think this
this
is
new price doesn't start until
July 15th.
July 15th. And it's for 1 year to July 14th of 23 then.
Correct. So I would ask for a motion to approve that based on we were expecting anywhere from that to 200%, and that's what we put in the budget. I really, based on emails I had been seeing from, you know, the Water Utility Council, what other people were doing when they bid, I really thought that's what we were gonna see when we redid this, so.
Mhm.
And I don't think we're gonna do better than this if we redid it in June.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussions? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? And carried.
I'd like to see like the financial statements of some of these companies and see what their profits are on things. Because they are, this is typical, like when I order things, they want to charge me $6 or $7 for a gallon of distilled water. You know, it's ridiculous what the markups are. So don't buy it. Go to the store and shop right here. Pay 89 cents.
Correspondence?
Nothing official. I did receive just before the meeting a note from Jim Quigley, old supervisor, asking to be kept in the loop on projects and financing. I think specifically Cooper Lake is what his interest was, but he was gonna try to make the meeting today. But he wasn't.
Okay.
And then I do have two other things that I didn't get onto the agenda. Quarry Street.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about Quarry Street.
So I met with Dennis Larios yesterday, and we're almost ready to go out to bid. He's just making a few final edits. Bill had gone through the insurance requirements, and he was gonna put some updates to that. And then we're looking at bids being due 5/19. And he's gonna have a recommendation of award by the June 8th meeting. So that's the plan for that. And then we'll be able to start when school is out at the end of June. We already have the pipe, it's at the school, so there's no waiting for the pipe to be found.
So just, go ahead.
I'm just trying to remember now, the school was on board or not on board?
They're
They
paying
are.
for their half, because we're gonna do it all in one shot, and they're gonna pay for their portion, which should be close to a 50-50 split.
So all we have to do is, the bid is pretty much the contractor doing excavation and
Blasting.
blasting
Yeah.
and laying of the pipe.
And the other thing I have.
And we won't get money from the school system until when though? When it's done, I guess.
When we build them, but. So it's depending on how it's all gonna go, I mean, it's gonna be a quick project, so. Once we have a contract in place, I guess we can figure out how we want to handle the invoicing for the school.
I mean. Just invoice them for half of the pipe.
We haven't yet.
Okay. I mean,
I guess I'm not 100% sure of how the split is working, it's just, I think it's 50-50.
yeah, Judy kept always saying that it was gonna be pretty close.
Are they also splitting the engineer's fees as well?
I would have to check the agreement, I don't
They
recall how
should.
that was worked out. I would agree,
I mean, when you do that, just include those.
yeah,
Yeah, have we been billed by the engineer yet?
no, the only thing we've been built for is pipe and what else we got, some
Yeah,
a dowel or a T maybe, or a dowel, so just some material.
Does this line feed other residents or
I wanna say there's like one house there,
that's it? Looks like
maybe
a
two,
private
but then
line.
it goes kind of, so it goes up to, what's that? After Quarry Street, the right there, trying to think of what it's called.
The coffee? Now, coffee is the street that's perpendicular to, or parallel with Quarry. There's
Fairview.
Fairview is a part of Fairview. I mean, Fairview goes up and bends up. I don't know if it's Fairview that comes out and meets Quarry.
It's Howland that,
Yeah,
so Quarry turns into Marilena, like right at Howland, so
okay.
I believe there's a house or two, but
So there, I mean, but there's a couple of houses.
how many of those are fed off Quarry Street, I don't know offhand.
I mean,
My understanding-
if you were a business or a resident, and you needed a line, you'd have to pay the whole shop. Right now,
Yeah,
Well,
this is a main, and we always thought it was going further than it was, and it turned out to be the schools. So we're gonna pay for our main, we're gonna pay for their service.
but their main goes past those two houses, I believe. And the question would be, since there's a new main, now, but the homeowners are gonna get stuck with the cost of tying into the new main versus,
yeah, right, unless they're gonna just dead end it and hook up to that,
Yeah, I would have
what's
to,
left.
I would have to check, I'm not sure how the houses in that area.
yeah, why don't you make sure you double check with Dennis Larios about that?
Yeah, right,
I mean, if you're putting a brand new main right in front of the people's houses, and currently their service line is running like an extra 100 feet down the road.
or even running by their house, and you've already, decommissioned the line that they're tapped off of, right? So now you have to.
Oh, we're gonna, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense to, well,
See, I don't know who's.
they'll be but they'll be tapping into the school system's line. This is probably the problem.
I can verify that for next meeting, I don't know who's on.
They can't, the
It's not-
school system owns that line, so if there was a problem,
Well, they only own half the line. Right?
well, the school system owns, their half starts up close to J. Watson Bailey's school. Probably right there at where Holland comes out.
I'm not sure what
I
house.
think our line comes up Quarry and then goes down Holland. And those two houses, in order to get our water before Bailey was there, ran their lines all the way down to Holland. But and then the school system put in that line at Holland up to the school. But that's technically the school system's line, and the homeowners shouldn't be tapping off the school system's line, should they?
I don't know, how long is the line route that we own? Half of it?
I think,
from where it splits or taps?
No, I think what what we own is from Hurley Avenue up to
Oh,
Holland. And that's our part. The school system's part is from Holland up to the school. And those two houses that are city residents currently have their service lines running all the way down to Holland, like, 150, 200 feet.
you think there are houses beyond Howland Avenue?
There's two houses up.
Yeah, beyond that.
I don't know where they're tapped, I mean, they might be,
I
I can check that and think that we-
I mean, I don't know what would happen, Bill, legally about, if they're tapping into someone else's main, they're not tapping into our main. That,
We're not really conveying them any title or interest in that line, or we're not dividing that line as to ownership by a map.
no, but
So
those homeowners,
they're into the Kingston line.
right now, but their service line runs 150 feet down to Holland.
Yeah, so
Well, I guess it would be nice that their service line would only run 40 feet.
But when, now this new line going by, those two houses will have to tap back in, right?
Well, no, they'll tap into wherever, I'm assuming we'll tap them back in. I mean,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
DOT,
We're gonna pay for that to tap them in.
they're not tapped into the quarry street, they're tapped into, what, then to say they're tapped into Howland Avenue.
well, or I don't know, but where they meet, I'm assuming our line comes up Quarry and goes down Holland,
Howland,
and so they're tapped in there someplace. I don't know.
And we're not touching that line, so.
no.
Well, it depends on, I guess, I'm not sure where they're tapped in and where it's changing.
I can get,
Dennis.
I can get more clarity.
We done with the bills and accounts? Okay. Have a motion to,
I'll make the motion to approve and pay the bills and accounts.
okay,
I'll second it.
okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
You have one other thing that was not on the agenda, I just gave it to Bill, because I just got it before the meeting.
Is Judy
I don't
never
know.
does this?
I don't agree with it. Those-
No, okay.
With you, I don't think I agree with that.
I don't.
They want to put the not material effect in. What any effect on the reservoir, I mean, it's not, whether you pay damages.
Yeah, I don't-
Small effect.
Yeah, I didn't, why did that fit in there, so, all right, well, I mean, she literally just sent this to me before the meeting,
So
so.
council reviews and rejects those two changes.
Is there something
So
we need to act on or something?
I don't know how pressing it is,
I
we're
don't
gonna be,
think
we're gonna be here in a
it's
couple of weeks
35
anyway.
years. They're doing some tree work up by Pennywater. And we decided we wanted something, they're gonna have to go into the fence to do the trees. I didn't know there was a second access, besides going up by the building. There's another access around to the north, I guess. South, rather. Of the reservoir. And they're gonna go through that gate in order to do their tree trimming and put their new line in.
Who is they?
Central
Oh,
Hudson.
okay.
Okay, you could do that, but whatever you're doing, if you're doing like spraying for trees and stuff like that, we can't have anything that's gonna affect the reservoir. And if you're going in through the fence, you have to take any fence down. We don't want to take any fence down. You gotta use the gates.
Mhm.
So I put it in there that they have to do that. They said, we will not materially affect the reservoir and there won't be any unreasonable damage to your property. Now,
Unreasonable.
Just reasonable damage.
Oh my God.
We'll just cause reasonable damage.
But I don't want to material affect the reservoir. I mean, what are you, yeah, okay, it was just a small effect to the reservoir. It was, we pledged only 50 people instead of.
Yeah, right,
30,000.
city.
So I will respond to this, and let them know we have another meeting on
So
the
we,
11th.
so we'll deal with it in the May meeting?
Yeah. So that's all I got for that.
Okay, we also have some personnel issues.
Yes.
Okay. Matt sent out everybody proposal. Jim and I met with Matt. Personnel committee did, to discuss the changes in the office here now that Matt is now the superintendent.
The reason for executive session,
I don't know, I mean, I thought we were told that personnel issues weren't actually something that was supposed to go.
No, I think personnel is allowed to go
It is
into
allowed.
executive session.
Okay, we can go into executive session if you want.
I mean, I don't need to, but there might be some other board members that might want to.
We did get some more on the account clerk. We want to discuss that in executive. We did some interviews
I think you should, somebody make
to
a
discuss the
motion.
interviews.
Okay, you want to do the superintendent's report first, then we'll go into executive session?
Okay.
Okay, is there any motion to accept if there's any issues with the superintendent's report? So all these Henry Street taps are,
I believe they're all related to the city's project. I mean, they're all done by one plumber.
but they're not, it's not part of this lead line stuff, is it, or is it just, they're,
I believe they were lead.
Yeah, that's why they replaced them.
So the city's doing their work and they come across these
Mhm.
and they hire the plumber to replace them. Since they've been disturbed, they need to be replaced. So
Do you know who the plumber was?
I do.
Who it was?
It was Carl. Carl.
I'll call him now.
Green.
Did anything go through us that went for the city as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Pretty good rain so far in April too, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
How's the reservoir? That must be.
Well, I mean, we
Faster
have
than you unload it.
we have it down still, so I mean, the college been closed for quite a bit, so we're,
Well, we gotta keep it low because they're doing work.
Yeah, I just thought it would still run in here no matter what.
No, there's very little that runs in. I mean, we really control, I think 90% of all the water goes into Cooper Lake through Mink Hollow connection. So I mean, that
I
was
didn't
what's.
think you had about totally shut off. I thought maybe
it's
you almost have to leave it.
No,
we're close.
Wow.
I mean, that was one of the frustrating parts about this whole dam remediation. Was that we control, it's not like the Ashokan where they have all the streams and they can't control the streams that come into it and, you know, it fills up and floods.
How many million gallons or billion gallons does the reservoir hold?
Our spending water
Yeah.
or in Cooper Lake, I think it's 1.2, 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion.
But I mean, obviously we have,
That's the beauty of your system versus everybody else, man. It's almost like a treatment plant, like a big sedimentation tank. Because the watershed itself is only 0.5 square miles for Cooper and Lake. Meanwhile, you have the Mink Hollow watershed that takes the water, so you could shut it off like, almost like a sedimentation tank. And not take it in, like, you know, the Ashokan takes in the Yusok, it takes in all these creeks and mud, and they end up so you stop it.
so Mink Hollow eventually goes where? Into the Ashokan?
Yeah, it does, the Beaver Kill.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you could go downstream.
our DEP,
Yeah.
former DEP employee. Thanks, Bob. So, yeah, so it doesn't even go into Cooper Lake,
Yeah,
so.
that's why the water quality is so good.
Okay, a motion to accept the superintendent's report?
I'll make the motion.
No, any changes? Huh?
Good job.
No, can be quiet, okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Well, just a question then that from here, kind of changed. We still haven't gotten final calculation or information on the roundabout, right, from DOT?
No, I have not heard anything, no.
I don't know if it's something we want to, I mean, is there any likelihood that we're gonna get money back? I mean,
Knowing the state,
is it one of those things where we just be better off being quiet about?
Can you calculate it? Do you know how much?
I don't think we can. They calculated it and we sent them the money.
It's worth a letter of inquiry, at least you have a record of it, I would
Well,
think.
Did we officially, I know Judy's contacted them.
Yeah, I don't know where it has landed. I know she has reached out to them. so I will
Yeah,
check.
if we haven't sent something in writing, an official request, then we should probably do that as a minimum.
Should have a record of it.
Yeah, I mean. And the city, I don't know where the city stands, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not
You
sure. I
talk
talked
to
to John
John-
about that project.
John Tui will probably,
Of our concern.
no, but I'm assuming that they will
We were
give.
very careful about that. I think, remember, we put in there if there was any, we'll pay all this money up front, but if it was too much, we want the overage back.
Right, and I think theirs said that if we didn't pay enough, it would.
Yeah. So good for us.
Yeah, so if we haven't officially requested in writing, I'm guessing that Judy has emailed the county counterparts or people down in
I
the
know
regional
I know
office.
the emails that we were trying to finish up before she had retired, but
Okay.
I'll check to see where it actually landed on.
Okay, so a motion to move into executive session, then, I guess.
I'll make, I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye. Motion.
A second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Okay, those in favor coming out of executive session?
Aye.
Okay, we're out of executive session, back into the board meeting. And I'm looking for a motion to provisionally appoint our new business manager and the principal account clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
you have the motion, right, Jane?
I do.
Okay. Have the salaries listed in there, 85,300 for the business manager and 64,380 for the principal account clerk. Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So carried. Or anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Matt,
make the motion.
I'll second it.
okay, those in favor?
Enthusiastic.
Aye.
Those opposed? Adjourned. Thank you. Congratulations. Jane,
Thank you, and Matt.
Matt,
That's first-
first meeting.
Superintendent.